In this video, we're getting cornholed again.
This is the Old Guy Network.
Yep.
Thanks for checking out the Old Guy Network. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to raise 1,000 subscribers before the beginning of summer. I'm so excited. Oh, drop my nut. I gotta go.
Welcome back to the Trailer Hood. It's me, the OG from the Old Guy Network, and I'm so happy to have you hanging out and spending some time with me. And today, cornhole. Yeah, we're making cornhole boards. We did that last year. Got to make a better one this year. Before we head on out to the shop, I just want to say that there's a website that I keep mentioning during the video. I've already shot the video. And I keep telling you to go to this certain website to get the design sheet for the cornhole boards. Don't go there. It doesn't work. But you can get this design sheet. It's on Pinterest, and I am going to leave a link in the description. So let's get out to the shed. I think I'm already in the shed, so let's go find me. I'm back here in the shop, and today we're going to make cornhole boards. Now, I did that before. Last year I made 2 cornhole boards. They came out pretty well, but I can do better. The only problem is now the lumber is 2-3 times as much, to buy. It's really expensive. So I only wanted to make 2 boards, 1 set, 1 game, just to see if anybody is interested in buying these things. Because they're quite expensive now. They've gone up quite a bit. But what I did last year, I kind of winged it and learned as much as I could about cornhole boards. This year, I was smart, and I went to cornholeplayers.net. Yeah, you can't see that. It's too small. But if you go there, you can download this little sheet. And this is a build sheet, and you can make an official cornhole board. And that's what I did this year. Now, the only thing that I was worried about was cutting the hole. Last year I used what I call a saber saw. Everybody else calls a jigsaw. I used a jigsaw to cut the hole. It didn't come out perfectly round. This year I wanted to use a hole saw, but I didn't have one large enough. Can't find anybody that has one, and they're very expensive. 6-inch hole saw, they're very expensive. So what I'm going to use is my Dremel with the plunge router attachment. Now, I did a unboxing of the Dremel a few months ago, and I think it's about time to do another one. So I'm going to do that pretty soon because it worked out really, really well. And let me show you right over here. Yeah, right there. And look at that. And that is a perfect circle. That was really, really good. So that worked out really well. The only problem I had today with these boards is because I'm only making 1 set, I didn't buy a full sheet of plywood. I just bought 2 foot by 4 foot sheets, and because that's the size of the cornhole boards, 2 feet by 4 feet. One was 2 foot by 4 foot, perfect, just right, exactly what we wanted.
To be dead on balls accurate.
The other one was 2 foot and 1/4 inch by 4 foot and 1/4 inch. So I had to trim that down a little bit, and now it's all done. We've got that. This over here, there's 1 frame. Now this is not glued together. All I've got is the clamps on here, and I put the board on top just to make sure that the frame was going to be adequate for the board, and it's perfect. It's just the right size. What I did was I took standard 2x4s, ran them through the joiner first, and then the planer, and once they're all done, I'm going to sand it and make them nice and smooth before I put the top on. But the first thing I'm going to do, or the next thing I should say I'm going to do, is I'm just going to glue these up. And instead of using screws this time, I'm going to drill holes on each side, and we're going to dowel them with 3/8 dowel. Dowels are very, very strong, and there won't be any screws in this thing, well, at least not for the frame anyway. And we'll put the dowels in there, sand them down, and hey, they'll look good. Then we can move on to the next part of it. So right now, I'm just going to glue this all up, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Before I get started on gluing, I just want to let you know I am going to use this stuff right here. This is Titebond 3. This is a waterproof interior-exterior glue. These are going to be spending a lot of time outside, so yeah, you want to use something really good. This is what I recommend. Not a sponsor, wish they were. Titebond, get a hold of me, would you? This stuff works really, really well. If this is the first video you've seen on this channel, I've mentioned this before, I'm just going to let you know, when you're gluing end stock onto anything else, a good rule of thumb, or a good trick, I guess, is put your glue on there, get it nice and even, just like I'm doing right here. And then when you've got it on there, let it sit for about 10 minutes. Now the reason why we do that is because the end stock is very porous, and this makes a nice little seal around that. And then what I'll do after the 10 minutes is up, I'll go over this again with glue, and then where it's going to be glued to, this is going to be right down here, I'll go ahead and put a little bit right there as well. As you can see, I put the pegs in. I just drilled some 3/8 inch holes. There they are. I'm going to have to put a little filler in the corner there, but all I did was drill the holes, put glue on the pegs, bang the pegs in with this wooden hammer right here that my dad made me many years ago, and then sanded it down with some 60 grit with my palm sander. Palm sander? No, that would be a whole different thing. Some places on here that had some little dings and nicks in it, so I put some putty on there. And let's go over here and yeah, see, look, it's all there. Now, the wood fill that I'm using is called plastic wood, and actually it's plastic wood X. And you'll notice it's kind of pinkish. Well, it won't be when it dries. That's why I like this stuff. It actually works really well. It's easy to use, dries fairly quickly. In about an hour it'll be ready to sand, probably less than that, but I usually wait about an hour. And it will not be pink, it'll be natural wood color when it's done. So we'll wait for that to set up, and then I can do the final sanding on it, and this is done. But while I'm waiting for that to dry, we've got these two things right here, and basically these are going to be our legs. Now I've already cut them to the right width, and I've already run them through the joiner. Now I'm going to run them through the planer, just make them a little thinner and make them straight, and then later I'm going to cut a radius in here, and then we'll cut this at the right angle. Basically what I did was I cut this to 3 inches, I planed it down so it would be a little easier to cut, but I ended up using the compound miter saw, and I just kept cutting, changing the blade, cutting, changing the blade, cutting, flipped it over, did the same thing, and then I used my palm sander and just sanded it over nice and smooth. I did it on both sides. And you cut the bottom like that at 27 degrees. If you're going to follow the directions from the website that I told you about before, you want to go 27 degrees, and this has to be 3 inches, and I'll give you the, well, you'll have all the dimensions anyway when you download the build sheet. Just to make something clear, I keep calling this a build sheet. It's not, it's a design sheet. This includes no directions. So it's just a design sheet. I don't want to give you the wrong impression. But it's pretty easy to follow, and if you got any common sense whatsoever, you can figure out how this all works. Now, just to go over, the whole thing is 2 foot by 4 foot. The legs are actually 12 and 9/16 long, and we cut the bottom at 27 degrees. I already told you that before. You want to come down 1.5 inches before you cut your arc, and you want to make the legs 3 inches wide. That's it. And then when we put that all together, we will have a regulation cornhole board. So that's pretty cool. One of the annoying things about buying sheets of plywood like this, they put the sticker always on the good side. And you know, it's kind of a pain to get them off, but I'm just going to use my chisel, and look at that. I'm just going to work at that until it comes off.
Now you're going to have some residue underneath it, and you're going to be tempted to use something like Goo Gone or Goof Off or one of those products that helps get that stuff off. If you do that, you're going to put a stain on your wood. So keep that in mind. If you just work at it a little bit, you can get that adhesive right off there. So the next thing we have to do is put the legs on, and that's really simple. Just go through the design sheet that I know you downloaded from the website I've been talking about, and there is a link for that website too in the description. Attach your legs, and then you just need to attach the top. And now after you put the top on, that's when you do all the rough sanding around the edges to make sure that this right here is flush with here all the way around, and then you can do the finish sanding. When you're getting ready to attach the top to the frame, remember the frame is going to be out just a little bit. It's not going to be perfectly square. That's why it's important to make sure that this piece here, the top piece, is perfectly square. Now, whatever you're using for fasteners to attach the top to the base, I'm going to use finish nails. I'm going to use my finish nailer to do it. I have used wood screws in the past. That works too, but there's less fill involved if you use, smaller nails. So I'm going to do that, but what I'll do is I'll attach one end, then with my clamps, I will basically move the frame so that it is perfectly square. And I'll just move it, and I'll use my my clamps and my speed square and my carpenter square to make sure that everything is right. Like if you put a square on there right now, yeah, it's off a little bit, but if you twist it a little, hey, works perfect. So that's what you want to do. Do one side, then get the other side squared up, attach that, and then do the other two long sides. So that, in a nutshell, is how we make a cornhole game. Yeah, this one's not exactly finished. It's almost finished. I mean, it's pretty close. And I will finish this up and then put the other one together. But you get the idea of how this works. So good luck with your cornhole board. And I hope that everything turns out all right. Thanks for spending time with me here in the trailer hood. Sure do appreciate it when you drop by. For the Old Guy Network, I am the Old Guy. And I'm out!
And that is
And that's pretty much how you make a corn.